pretty sure this is going in one of the 7 bathrooms at Shadow Creek, right?
I think it is.
Yeah, I do too.
Champagne also going in one of them?
Most likely.
More than likely.
Yes.
Well, welcome back to a very special episode of Between the Studs.
This is our second episode highlighting this amazing $3 million home that we're building over in Shadow Creek Estates.
And to remind everybody, this is on North Coldwater Road, just north of Cedar Canyon on the left-hand side. You can't miss it, a beautiful entrance into this subdivision.
Going into a beautiful model. This is a modern European chateau style that is something that Northeast Indiana has never seen before.
And we're going to name this home, this exquisite home, the Monaco.
Now in the first episode with this, we went over the floor plan, we did the interior design selections, we did the groundbreaking out the site, and we cleared the lot.
Now today we're going to go into more depth with the 2024 interior selections and trends for this home and in general. And we're going to talk more about concrete when it comes to pouring your foundation and the basement process.
Now, the concrete foundation is one of the most important parts of this process, and it includes a lot of different tools and a lot of different mechanisms to get it there. One of them is called the Luke Hoffman. I'm sorry, it's called the agitator truck. The agitator
that fits you
truck.
more than it fits me.
And this is one of those trucks that is designed specifically for Northeast Indiana, but now it's growing on all over the country.
And we've done a lot of episodes where we've covered interesting history about concrete as well as some of the facts.
Now we need to open the show, but first let's watch a quick clip of something we did in the past about concrete in the process.
Okay, let's do a little history. Now, let me start. First of all, guess how long ago concrete was used? About 6,000 years ago.
Oh my God.
Now, it really wasn't a concrete like we know today. It was more of a binder, a bonding agent, especially for brick, mortar type of concrete. Then, around 3,000 years ago, the Egyptians and the Greeks were using experimental type things like lime. But here's the big one, the Romans. They came along about 400 BC, and they invented a secret ingredient to the concrete that revolutionized the Roman era, the empire. They had something called volcanic ash that was really close to our cement. And that's what changed the world. They could even use it in water, the marine, so they could build bridges to go over to different countries and destroy their country. Now, here's a really fun story. Anybody heard of Vitruvius? Of course, 25 BC. He had a formula and he printed it in his 10 architectural digests that he made back then. And one of those was this cementous material. And what happened, he used it and it was like 1 part lime, 3 parts this pazzolzia, which is cement. Now, after that, Romans fell about 400 AD. We lost this formula for 1,000 years. 1441 was the next year they started looking at it again. Welcome back. On today's special episode of Between the Studs, we would like to continue talking about the process of this magnificent $3 million model showcase home that we're building over in Shadow Creek.
And as you can see, we have a new stud member today, Jen Nelson. She's been an integral part of designing our new wonderful model. We have a couple other designers who weren't able to be here today, but this is an amazing group effort, and we're so excited to be able to talk to Jen and really share a lot of our designs.
Now, as you can see from that previous episode that we showed, concrete has a rich history, and it's really an integral part in any construction in any nation all over the world. But I want to put something in perspective here. So let's break it down into cubic yards. So a cubic yard is 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 foot. So about a 3 foot cube. Wow. And on a typical home, we'll use about 40 cubic yards. Okay, this Monaco, this Shadow Creek model, times that 40 by 10 to get 400. That's how many cubic yards we're going to use on this. So an average dump truck can hold about 10 to 14 cubic yards of dirt. So imagine 40 dump trucks lined up in a row. That's how much concrete we're using.
Wait, and what about the swimming pool? Does that include the swimming pool that's coming?
Yeah, that does include the swimming pool. We've used about 250 so far in the foundation. We're going to need the swimming pool, the driveway, the sidewalks, the patios, the porches, all of that in there.
So for a typical home, 20% of the cost would be the concrete if you have a basement. Now 15% would be on a slab. So with this Monaco house, a $3 million house, 20%, we're looking at $600,000, Tony? Like, holy cow.
Wow.
We could have bought all of the concrete company.
No doubt.
The concrete foundation is really where it all starts with everything. It's where we get the floors level, which makes sure that we get the walls in line, which makes sure that we get the doors to be able to close correctly. Everything starts with that nice, smooth concrete foundation.
Now for this kind of a model, we don't necessarily want it to just be plain concrete, maybe for the driveway, but we do want to put a little pizzazz into it. So we've had quite a few debates on what kind of concrete. Do we do stamped concrete or stencil? Do we do brick pavers versus concrete? Have we even made a decision on that? Okay, yeah. So we still have to decide some of that, but there really are a lot of things that go into concrete and a lot of decisions for the color, the pattern, the style, and where it makes sense to put all of these different things. So that's something we'll get into a little bit more later of we might need to make a decision on that, Jen.
I know. Before we head out to the job site, let's talk about what and why we're building. Now, we love at Granite Ridge Builders to demonstrate. So we're building this home to show you all of the latest trends and what there is available in today's market.
All right, guys, why don't we say a little bit about what we think some of the special features of this modern European chateau style home.
Well, I'll start. It has a wine room, which we all know I am here for. But even better, this boutique master closet, let me tell you, it has a washer and dryer in it and a steamer. I would never iron again.
Let's also talk a little bit about our theater room. We've taken a little different approach to it. We have more of a media area that is more of a conversational area. We have our fireplace in that area, easy access to the bar. We're really excited.
That one's a cool space, but I'm super excited for the 4th story. Not on the 1st level, not on the 2nd level, not on the 3rd level. It's on the 4th level of this home, a really awesome bonus room for the kids. And we have some amazing fun stuff planned that might include a playhouse, might also include a foam pit, maybe some rock climbing. I don't know, all sorts of things coming. I'm super excited.
Can I be a kid again?
I want to be a kid again.
Well, what about the elevator? How often do you go into a home with an elevator? And with all these levels, it's really a necessity. And then, of course, all of the design features in all of these open living areas is going to be spectacular. And then the owner's suite, which is on the main level, it has a nice sitting room with a fireplace.
And to help you save money on your New Year's resolution, you're going to have a professional workout room in the house.
True.
And then, of course, the garage is bigger than my first house. It is over 1,700 square feet.
Crazy.
Now, we've been talking about concrete in this episode. What about these 2 areas that took a little bit of extra work on the concrete end? So first, we have a golf simulator, so it allows you to play golf all year long here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. But we sunk the basement floor to make that work. Then in the basement, we also have a vault room. It's going to have a bank-style vault door leading into an area underneath the front porch. So it's going to be completely encased with concrete. You can use it to store your valuables, a cold storage room, a storm shelter room. Really, your imagination can run with
Is
it.
this going to be a big one or small one?
Very large, several hundred
Yeah.
square feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the cigar room, which is going to be right next to where the whiskey tasting room is, which is all amazing things, but neither one of them come close to all of the different appliances that we are putting in this home. I mean, our partners at Vans just have to love us. 'Cause we're like, yep, let's do this. Yep, doing it.
Super cool.
And by now, our audience knows how much we love outdoor living, and we have really outdone ourselves with this house. We have not 1, but 2 outdoor kitchens, verandas, fireplaces, a pool and a hot tub overlooking this amazing natural area out back. Combine that with the butler's pantry and the chef's kitchen that we have inside the house. This is a party host dream, is what it is.
Okay, before we get to this first segment, Granite Ridge has been really working hard on all the newest trends, all the newest features and products in this house. Why don't we tell our audience real quick, what are some of those amazing 2024 trends that you see for this year?
Well, again, like we've said, a reason for this home is we want to be ahead of the trends and show you what's going to come over the next couple of years. And this year, Pantone just came out with their color of the year, and we have a couple of them. They've come out with Peach Fuzz and Apricot Crush.
Peach Fuzz, it's like Mike's beard.
Look at this thing.
So what we're saying is the colors coming out are going to be warmth and elegant, and you will see that throughout this home that we're designing. And we really did start this home off with the wellness in mind, and you're really going to captivate that when you go throughout this home with all of those new colors and trends.
Now let's talk about metals. Bossy brass is
Whoa, whoa,
going
whoa,
out.
whoa. I wasn't going to do it until Charity said something about me, but let's see some of that bossy brass in there.
Look at this smile.
That's not brass. Hot metals are in. Charity is in.
That's right. I just want to be trendy.
We're
That's
going
Bossy,
to see the silvers, the chromes, the aluminums. Those are all the hot metals that are coming in. And like I said, the brass is heading out, and so is the black.
all those saturated hues of those precious gems create like a sense of velvet. You are on trend, Ellen.
Elizabeth's
We're
got
both
it.
on trend.
Yeah.
It's a sense of romanticism, and I think it creates a little bit of a softness.
Well, I'm super excited to talk about all these things. Let's go do a little bit more in depth about the vision boards, and we're going to be able to really dissect room by room what's coming in this home. I'm so excited, so we're going to go take a look and do some of that.
Peach fuzz, huh? Is that really what that is?
Luke, we are so excited once again to be out here at this massive Shadow Creek model that we're doing. The fun thing about this house is we're going to be able to come out here multiple times as it's being built to show you all of the different stages. And today we're going to get into the concrete a little bit.
Now, as you can see, there's been a lot of activity that's happened out here. We're standing in one of the 2 different garages that is on this house.
That's right, two garages. How many? I think it's 6, 8 cars, maybe 9 we can fit in here depending.
Right. Well, as you can see, we're standing on what's the finished product here for the garage floor. It looks fantastic right now, but there was a lot that went into it between how we got here.
Now, Luke, when it comes to a garage of this size, how deep are we pouring this concrete?
Yeah, so the concrete itself, we're right where we're standing, is about 4 to 5 inches thick. But below that, we've got stone. Typically, that's 8 to 14 inches thick, again, depending on where we're at in the garage here. It's going to be closer to 8. Inside a house, it's going to be closer to 14 inches. Allows us to pass a little bit more mechanicals through it. Then we also have Visqueen to help keep the moisture on the ground side. And then we've got wire mesh that bonds it all together.
Now, the interesting thing is with this house, we've poured a lot of concrete in a lot of different areas. Being on the garage side, there's not as many undergrounds, but we still have some.
Yeah, we've got a few things going on. Over to our right here, we've got a floor drain, and we've got several of them spread out throughout here. So we do one of 2 things. We either do a floor drain where all the concrete slopes back to it. So on a rainy day like today, all that's collecting it. If you pulled into the garage with a car full of snow, it's going to melt, gives it a place to leave. Or we do a 4-inch slope, which all slopes to, and you can see we have a cutout here. That's where an overhead garage door is going to be located. We have another cutout back there. That's going to be where there's going to be a man door where you can come in. And then even behind me, there's another one in a little bit of an unusual spot. We actually have an overhead door leading out to the backyard, back to where the pool is. So I imagine a lot of the pool stuff is going to be kept there.
This is a massive garage, and when I'm looking around this garage, I'm seeing what we call a perimeter lip or a rat wall. Why did we do that with this house?
Yeah, so the perimeter lip gives us a nice flat spot for us to start our framing from. Now, you mentioned rat wall. There's a little bit of history behind that. We don't typically call them rat walls anymore. Most people, they struggle to rat. What does that have to do with anything? But it really was that. It was basically a lip of concrete that kept rats from being able to chew into the house and be able to get access to that. Now, we don't have to worry about that too much around here, but there are rats, there are mice, but it does serve more of again, water protection. So again, water gets on this concrete, that elevates our wood framing, so it keeps that water from being able to penetrate that wood.
Now, look, we've been talking a lot about this garage in a small amount of time, but we need to talk about some of the components of what this garage floor is made of in the first place. Can you touch on that just a little bit?
Yeah, so concrete is typically made up of 4 main components. So you've got about 33% is going to be your large aggregate, so stone. Then about 33% is going to be your small aggregate, so that's going to look more like sand. And you got 15% of cement. And that's one of the most crucial products.
That is the crucial product in everything.
Yes, that is one of the most crucial because literally that is the bonding agent. That is the glue that holds everything together. And we've all made sandcastle, right? You add a little bit of water with sand and the thing just falls apart. You add cement to that and the thing is going to be rock hard. It's going to be concrete. And then we add 10% of water. That's going to basically act as the active agent. That's going to then make that cement start doing what it's going to do, and it'll cure out, that water cures out, and then that's what leaves you with this concrete. So a lot of people call concrete cement. Technically, they're 2 different things.
Don't tell that to a concrete guy. No, don't do that.
Yeah. Now, we have a great concrete trade partner, a great supplier, Keystone Concrete. They are the ones who brought this out, and they monitor all of those percentages very closely. And the other thing that I forgot to mention, there is a fifth component. There's a fifth component of, it could be chemicals, admixtures, things like that, that we might need during different times of the pour, different times of the day, different times of the season.
Yes.
They will make sure that whatever we are calling for is going to react in a way that's going to give us a fantastic product. And we actually did a show out there. I think we probably need to take just a minute to show people what Keystone does for us. All right, Mike, they led us into what they call the command center here. And talk about sensory overload. There's so many buttons and graphs and charts and videos to see. I can't hardly take it all in.
Yeah, it feels like we're at NASA, you know, and we literally have a lookout here so that way they can see everything that's going on with the trucks.
Right, so an order comes in here, they write it down on a piece of paper, they upload it into the computer, and essentially, as we talked about before, a lot of it's computerized, so the computer takes over and starts kind of, I guess, pulling everything in it needs to make that batch. But these guys here sitting here can check at any time how many, pounds of cement's going in, what kind of aggregates going in, what kind of chemicals are going in, and they have a great view here of the concrete that has now been mixed dumping into the truck, so they can see everything that's going on.
And that's super important for us because we have to have different mixtures of concrete for different types of pours, whether we're pouring a footer or we're pouring a driveway or if we're pouring the slab, So these guys really control a lot of what's going on our job sites.
Right, so they got about 28 acres here, they got about 47 employees, and a lot of those are truck drivers. It's really these guys up here that are sitting here that just know everything that's going on.
Yeah, and we've talked about it earlier, they have 28 trucks that they're running throughout the day. So, they really have to be on top of where everybody's at for that timing because it is a time-sensitive project.
Right, it's a lot to manage here, but these guys got it down to a science.
Yeah. Luke, we've been up here for about 10 minutes, so I think we know how to run this stuff now. So
I've been watching them.
That big red one looks pretty enticing.
Look at this big red one.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that truck's on fire.
I think I say this every time, but this really is my favorite part of designing a model is being able to share all of these awesome ideas with you guys and be able to really dissect what we're doing in this home and also talk about the 2024 trends and why we're doing a lot of these things in our new Shadow Creek, the Monaco home.
Today we want to tell you specifically about 4 different rooms in this gorgeous house, and then next time we'll tell you about 4 more, and we'll just keep going until we get through the whole house, which may be a while because it's kind of a big house. But we want to start in the beautiful foyer, which is eye-catching when you first walk into this home.
It's exquisite, and you can see behind us we have a mood board, or you maybe have heard the term vision board of what's going to happen in this foyer entryway.
So Jen, can you tell us a little bit about some of the selections we've made, and I'll follow it up with why we've made some of those selections with the trends coming.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things we really wanted to try to enhance was the ceiling height in this home, which is really amazing and allows us to do a lot of decorating that has a little bit of a wow factor. Mm-hmm. So as you can see, we kind of use that cue to kind of create a trimscape just right in the front entry. We've got our wonderful bench. We've also pulled in some reading on each side of our trimscaping going on there. And then our colors are also kind of pulling those together.
Now my favorite when it comes to this area is the lighting. That sconce you can see in our vision board is so cool. It is going to be really amazing. And why we picked a lot of these things is because of wellness and natural materials. When you come into this home, it is going to feel so welcoming with how calm and cool everything is, but it still is going to create such a warmth that you're going to feel so comfortable coming in. So our foyer is really setting the tone for the entire house.
So then you head on into the great room, and the ceiling in this room is absolutely
magnificent.
Magnificent.
Right.
It's almost a little scary just from designing it to make this come together correctly. And now we've had a lot of debates about how to do this room correctly. So the great room here has amazing trusses. So it's going to be a huge cathedral ceiling, several trusses going along this room, which you can see the design of it is kind of unique in this vision board of what we're doing here. But we want to make sure everything is symmetrical because this lines up with the veranda. Yes. So everything needs to line up perfect, which has got to be hard on construction. We've not made this easy on them by any means.
That was also another thing. Scale is so important when we're dealing with such a wide open space. So we did take advantage of that with a lot of the textures that we've used, our stone, our heavy
real
products.
Yes. Amazing.
You know, and also too, the colors play into it. You know, everything is very light yet very warm and relaxing.
Okay, so how did you decide on the colors for these rooms? White, gray, tan, what do we do?
Well, we definitely wanted to make sure it was inviting, warm, and welcoming, and that's what we've talked about, the 2024 trends. It's warm, it's natural, it's comfortable.
Rooms that you wouldn't expect us to talk a lot about. Laundry room, but this is a laundry room that you really want to talk about. And you know, we talked in the open about trends and that romanticism, and this comes to play in this laundry room.
It does. We can go back to that apricot crush sort of a color. It's not pink. I'm telling everybody right now, it's not pink, because that's what the vision board might seem like it, but it really is a nice, soft, warm color. And what's really cool is we're not doing it on a wall. We're doing it on the trim that's going to be around this entire room. So you're going to have all cabinets or all shiplap woodwork, and that's going to be what's painted the different color, not drywall.
Right, and also just to warm that up too, the addition of brick. You know, the brick is pulling out those rose gold, peachy tones that we're using in there, which help to make it very, very warm.
I think it's important. Listen, it's a room you have to spend time in.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you enjoy that room in your house?
And I love all the other elements you're bringing in, like the pull-out laundry baskets, all of those little design features as well.
And we're making sure that this laundry room is highly functional for several items. So you're going to have a whole tech station that you can have kind of all that clutter go. You can have that where your mail goes, or you pay your bills at. That could be some of the kids can put some of their items there. So it's a great functional, organized area in this laundry room, as well as the laundry itself.
Now let's move on to our next room of the day. This is the sitting room that's off of the master suite.
Well, the best thing in this room has to be that fireplace. You have a room full of windows and yet that fireplace, so it's so cozy right there off your master bedroom. And we're gonna have a day bed in there too, so you can just go sit in there and read, or yeah, I wish it was done
Just
right
get
now.
away from the kids.
So great. So one of my favorite features of this room has got to be our light fixtures.
Oh my
So
gosh,
instead of doing lamps, we did some pendants on either side of this wonderful daybed.
Did, and they're a rattan in design, so we really have kind of that organic feel. You know, we really kind of wanted to have that, you know, kind of earthy and warm, and plants and things like that, just a place you can cozy up.
Which I love. Also, the textures going in here. We have the rattan, but we have hard surface flooring going throughout the master suite area, but you want to be soft and cozy, so we have a gorgeous, amazing rug to be able to just bring all of that coziness together, and it's going to have wonderful throws, and I just want to cuddle up there and just spend the day, and it really will be a wonderful retreat, and that's really what people are looking for. We're wanting to make sure everybody has something, and this home is warm and comfortable, and it's a retreat for the masters. It's a retreat for the kids, because we're going to get into it later, but there's going to be some amazing kids things, and there's going to be something for everybody. So please stay tuned. We have so much more to show you on this wonderful home, the Monaco.
We are continuing out here in Shadow Creek. We are at our massive, soon-to-be model home called the Monaco. Right now, Luke and I are sitting in a very, very small portion of this area. It's kind of in the back of the house, right behind where the garage is, and I'm sitting on a wing wall, which is part of the walkout basement's going to be here. And Luke, one thing that I hear a lot is 8-inch wall, 10-inch wall, sometimes maybe even a 12. What helps decide how big this is that my butt's sitting on right now?
Right, so yeah, you are sitting on an 8-inch wall there, and you said what helps decide that, right? So you said wing wall is sometimes referred to as a retaining wall, and that's what it's meant to do. It's supposed to retain all of this weight, all of this dirt that's up and around here, from allowing us to transition to that lower level on this walkout. So this one does have where it cuts straight back, right? So we've got a little bit of extra support there. If this would have been just a really long straight run, we would have needed 10 inches. If it was even longer and taller, we probably would have needed 12 inches. Sometimes we have to reach out to an engineer to help us, with that, but it's all about how much weight is it going to be holding back, right? And this ties right in with our basement wall. So it's one monolithic pour. We have to do the same thing with basement walls. Sometimes they're 8 inches, but sometimes it's such a long run, about 40 foot or longer, then we're gonna bump that up to 10 inches.
And this is another one of those examples of how the land dictates what we do with the home, correct?
Right, yeah, so we, again, had a perfect opportunity here to do a walkout, but not without a little bit of encouragement on our end. That's where that retaining wall comes in. And this is a particular special area because this is all going to be ADA accessible. So we wanted to make sure that coming around the side yard here, anybody would be able to access that lower space.
Sitting in here, I'm also seeing little lips around the corner that we're looking into behind this back area of the house.
Yeah, this is actually a very crucial spot in the house because as we mentioned, we've got the retaining wall, we've got the basement wall next to me here with the basement deck or the first floor deck. And then we've actually got this little porch that sits right out here. There's actually the kitchen sink sitting there. That's going to be a porch that's going to have a covered roof there, and then it transitions to the garage.
Luke, I'm also noticing that I have a couple different colors here when we're looking at the concrete. We've got the black towards the bottom, then we have the normal concrete color. What's the difference between those two?
Yeah, so concrete by itself is very porous. Water can push through that. Now we want to make sure that we're managing that. So the black is actually a tar product that we spray on. It's a damp proofing product. That'll stop that flow of water pushing through it. But we want to take it one step further, and that's where that stone that's right directly underneath you takes place. So we backfill right up against the concrete with that stone, so any water that finds its way up against that wall, it's going to literally get sucked straight down to a perimeter tile that runs out to the backyard here.
Now there is going to be some water around here that we want to keep though, that has to go with more concrete. If you look over my shoulder, later on we're going to be pouring a huge pool out here that's going to come right off of this walkout basement into this beautiful view. If you would like to come out and take a tour of any of this stuff, if you want to see how we're doing it, what we're doing, just go ahead and give us a call at Granite Ridge Builders, and one of our sales reps will be more than happy to come out here and show you how we do what we do.
Hey, as we close, why don't we talk a little bit about concrete and some of the interesting facts that we found out?
Well, guys, as a former firefighter, reinforced concrete is one of my favorite building materials. It's one of the only building materials known to man that is both highly resistant to fire and water.
And did you know that concrete is the most used material in the world? That includes bridges, buildings, you name it. It's the most important material we've ever come up with.
The one thing that I found interesting in looking at all this is concrete gets 90% of its strength within the first few weeks, but it continues to get harder and stronger for decades afterwards to keep you with that good foundation.
And you talk about the strength. Concrete, really what we're looking at is that compressive strength, so how much weight you can put on a specific area there. And we break it down to PSI, pounds per square inch. So typically 4,000 to 5,000 PSI is going to be on our houses, but you can get concrete mixtures up to 20,000 PSI that it can hold, which is pretty incredible.
Wow.
And the amazing thing we talked about, how many different types of concrete can be made. One of the secrets to the old Roman concrete was the volcanic ash that they used inside of it, which of course we don't have as good of access to, so we don't get to use that as much in our concrete.
And a testament to the durability and sustainability of concrete is the Romans built their bridges 2,000 years ago out of concrete, and those are still standing today.
And the water aqueducts.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, concrete can be functional, but it can also be beautiful. It can make amazing floors and gorgeous fireplaces.
And let's not forget concrete sinks. You know, there's a lot of wonderful sinks that you can do with lots of additives that make them very interesting.
Did you know concrete and cement are not the same thing? I did not until I came to work at Granite Ridge. I was quickly schooled on that, yes.
Yeah, and that is one word you do not want to mix up when you're talking to our concrete trade partners out there.
Okay, guys, time is up. Kayla, would you go ahead and close for us?
Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and why we do what we do so well, please pick up the phone and give us a call. Visit our website, or even better yet, come in our front door. We would love to talk to you all about our new model, the Monaco.
We should do another show with this.
Another one, and maybe another one,
And another one, and another one.
Oh, I'm a shoot, man. If it was in the rear, which a lot of the trucks are, then
a B. Because they tried to make everything just so it would blend in with what was already here. And the architect, sorry, I have a bee flying in my eye right now.
Ah!